OpenAI is hiring for an SEOs. Google is hiring for SEO. So what does that tells me? Our skill is really in demand if you can understand the latest trends.
Today I'm joined by Venkata Pagadala, an AI and SEO product leader at AT&T, one of the biggest telecommunications companies in the United States. He's focused on search, agentic workflows, and LLM integrations. Before AT&T, he worked on apartments.com, which was a CoStar Group company. Enjoy today's episode. Awesome. Nice. Let's start with actually what you currently do, because if I understand correctly, you're the lead technical product manager for automation, AI, and SEO at AT&T. And for those listening, AT&T is one of the leading telecommunications provider in the United States. Pretty big telco company. And you also have a very long job title, and it sounds like there's a lot under your wing. So what I'm curious to know is, what does your day-to-day look like?
I recently joined in AT&T as an again the lead product. So I think the primary goal of this role is how can we automate the SEO systems and processes using AI pipelines and automation. Examples would be what are the tedious tasks we do very often, content generation, metadata generation, schema generation. How can we build the systems and process using our previous experience and leverage AI to generate at scale and following the requirements such as legal stuff and things to mention, things not to mention, and how can we scale the production using limited resources. So that's pretty much what I do is like creating an architecture of how can we generate a metadata, how can we find the gaps.
Do you have any workflows there that you can share?
Yeah, I think AT&T it's a really big brand and reputed brand. Google doesn't need an extra push like in medium to small companies, but we have like a really big enough external and internal teams that purely work on PR. It's like example, AT&T can be seen in tons of locations and in big brands like Costco, and we are kind of like everywhere. So technically, there's a separate departments who work that, but what we as an SEOs try to leverage is like, hey, if you're writing something about this, we have a page, try to link them. So we're going to organically leverage based on the pipelines. But automation side, I think I work with some of my friends who works in different agencies and their own agencies, and I often talk with them and see what is different from enterprise level was like SMBs and medium cap. There is some strategies they use to outreach based on the alerts. They create a script that, example, if they track like certain pages and based on like Ahrefs or SEMrush data, they're going to see is new links are added to this particular page, and then if so, create an email or like send an alert to internal team to create a better content and reach to the other stating that hey, we have like extra content, extra infographics here, extra videos, and example same thing with the broken links as well. If they see that this particular page have high authority but have a broken links, automates not only notifies it, it automatically were able to track what topics we have on the site and create a draft in email so that they can send it scale.
Nice. What's in your toolkit to deal with the cleanup? I know Screaming Frog is something you mentioned
Oh
quite a
yeah,
lot on your page, but what's your other go-to? Your
I
other
think
go-tos, or do you just usually use Screaming Frog?
I really enjoy using Botify.
Spotify?
Yeah, Botify is like an enterprise. Yeah, Botify is an enterprise tool. I think they're really great at like an monitoring, having a nice monitoring systems, and they have like an one-to-one calls as well, and then bi-weekly that helps us. They have a great log analyzer as well. And personally, I use Jet Octopus. That's a really great tool as well. I think I Jet Octopus is a cloud crawler, and it's a great tool. And I think these two are like so far kind of my favorite so far. And I think if I want to do a small ad hocs and like I want to test the waters or samples of it, Screaming Frog is my like default and one of my favorite tool. I think is Screaming Frog. And there's this one of other tool called Site Checker that is really good for small to medium businesses who wants a cloud crawler. They can automate most of job there. They do really great job at cloud systems for medium to small caps. So these are like four of them I really enjoy using it.
Thanks for that plug. I love how it's a
Yeah,
good mix of enterprise level and also SMEs, so
yeah,
everyone can find something that works in
for
their
sure.
toolkit. So do you also sort of spend time in reporting your SEO tasks? I mean, your SEO work. Do you create reports? And if so, have you automated that side of your work completely? And has AI improved SEO reporting?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. We have a great team here in AT&T, and we work with one of the brightest vendors here. So I think one, they help us to assist what's going on. I think we have created an automated alerts in Botify. That alerts us, like example would be based on the log analyzer. It's going to say, hey, we found like X% of canonicals has been updated, because this is especially happens in enterprises, because there is like 100 different teams working on the same site, and we don't know what's happening on the other side of a coin sometimes. So we create an automated alerts in Botify, and that alerts, as soon as that's popped up, we're going to validate with Screaming Frog and three different browsers and three different tools to make sure is that a real problem, because sometimes it's like it can be false positives. Creating, I think the first thing we did was segmenting a whole site. Like example would be, and Screaming Frog has the tool. I think that's one of the most underrated like a feature in Screaming Frog is they have a segment. You can segment whole site. So example would be why it's so important and highly recommend for anyone is, if you have like a 10 alerts in a day, and one is coming from high commercial pages, which is like really high priority, and then some of them are coming from low priority pages, such as like it can be support, it can be like, you know what, this is not a high priority. Without segmentation, you never know what to prioritize, because you get an alert, you have to segment all the URLs, then understand 90% of URLs are from support and 10% are from high business pages. Rather than that, if you segment ahead and automate the alerts, then you can say, okay, hey, these are the high commercial pages. I think we need to immediately take action. These are low level. So that's the way we build it, but we didn't able to accomplish 100% automation yet, but we are working on that.
Nice. And what are maybe some of the parameters that you use for your segmentation?
Yeah, I think mostly we rely on the URL parameters. Like example would be like folder one talking about XYZ, folder two, folder three, and also I create like an false cases as well, which means like in Screaming Frog or Spotify, you can say if it contains XYZ and it should not contain XYZ. Example would be, I want to track iPhones, but not colors in the iPhones. So I
Not
could say,
sorry, what?
hey,
Sorry, what? Not what iPhones? Do you
the
mind?
the colors and storages. Example would be,
Okay.
I only want the parent pages, so do not include colors or a
Okay.
storages, or do not include iPhone 16s. Just focus on iPhone 17. So creating segment and using parameters and creating exclusion cases gives you the right data.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
really good at doing it at scale. So yeah, I kind of actually want to ask you a little bit about your open source workflow automation tool of choice, because you are saying that you are setting up certain workflows and you've done some
yeah.
demos on your LinkedIn. So I wanted to ask, what tools are you using for your workflow? And maybe you would like to share some examples of certain AI SEO workflows that you've set up recently. And these can be personal projects
Yeah.
or also something for AT&T.
Yeah, I think AT&T, we have internal AI system. We use that mostly, and we leverage other AI sources. But I think the most advanced work I was doing, which I shared in LinkedIn, pretty much is like I use big time Claude. I really like Claude, and I use like a Python as well. And then what else? I use like Cursor is a really good tool. Cursor integrated with Claude, you can build pretty much the most MVPs possible.
Very powerful. So that's all you need to kind of create.
To be honest, I think I personally really like Claude because it is accurate more comparatively. In my experience, in my testing, again, it can vary. I used to really rely on OpenAI. Then I switched to Claude. I feel much better, and the iteration it takes to complete something is faster. And Cursor is a platform you can use textual interface to build something. And I think I used to use a Replit. It have everything in it,
What is
but
that? Sorry?
it's called Replit.
Replate?
Yeah,
I've heard of it, so I'm not.
it's like Replit is a platform where you can build everything in one place, like database, back end, front end, and everything.
Okay.
Uh, the only challenge I had was it's like a pay per go, which means it's not unlimited. You need to pay as money as you request. So sometimes you need to make sure that we are not burning our cash.
I see.
So those are my favorites so far.
Nice. And do you consider yourself a vibe coder then as
Oh
well?
yeah, I think I can say for sure. I think I enjoy like vibe coded like an GTA 5. I spend like a lot of late nights playing with it and learned it. I think the beautiful experience I can say that is like maybe vibe code. In the process of vibe coding, I understood what are the things developers are actually facing. Example would be we have an error and that error says like because you did not follow xyz this error is caused. We debug it, right? We're going to ask, hey, I got this error, what happens here, how to fix this. So in this process I was able to understand from a developer lens what is something that how better I can communicate with the developers moving forward, and I was able to build some applications which solves my problem. And yeah, I think I saw a lot of people building really good tools. I think the biggest thing is it scalable? Is it can we maintain it?
And that's something you also spoke about earlier, right? Like what you're currently responsible for or working on in AT&T is building up these workflows, but seeing if they're actually if they save time, if it's
Oh yeah,
if it's actually efficient, because or is it sometimes better to rely on the human
oh yeah.
workforce to sort of execute the task. How and I think this is a good segue to another question I had, especially for bigger corporations, for these bigger enterprise companies, with the advancements of AI, one of the things that are on their mind is definitely making shrinking teams and being more productive with output with AI. There's also a lot of fear in the space of SEO that jobs are becoming automated. Where do you stand in all of this? Do you feel like you could sort of automate certain tasks and not really require outsourcing it maybe to agencies or like having a smaller team? Maybe you can share your
Yeah,
perspective on that.
I think I'll start with the controversial thing that you ask, like the jobs and stuff. I think yes, a lot of people have that fear. It's common to have that fear, but I think I'll set an example that helps. I think you have a more broad reach, so I'm going to say in easiest examples possible would be you have an like a doctor who's extremely expert, who knows where to find cancer, how to predict something, how to do a surgery. And if you give more tools to him, does he can do more operations in a day and able to save lives faster, or he's scared that AI knows everything, then he's going to lose the job? I think thinking, yeah. What do you think?
No, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I thought that was a question, but yeah, it goes in line with the fact that it saves time, right? Like you have to sort of work with the tools and not against it, so not being afraid of the advancements in
Uh,
this space.
Yeah, I think if you go back to the history that we don't have cars previously, and everyone was scared about if you have a cars, we're going to lose a lot of jobs. But cars created a lot of new jobs too, and then now it's a self-driving cars. Yes, we'll have some. They're going to lose some jobs, but eventually it unlocks a lot of other things too. So I meant to say is like if you're adopting faster, and if you are able to implement faster, if you're able to test faster, I think for the demand for SEOs who have an AI knowledge is much more high paying and high demand. And I think I'm one in a lot of people do like what I do as well, but I have a lot of DMs that people want to hire me. I mean, based on the demand, based on the DMs people reach me, I can say how is the market behaving. So, example, you reached me because there is a unique skill set that combination of AI and SEO. Similarly, recruiters feel the same way. I think if you need to project yourself, adapt faster. I think if I talk about AI agents next year, no one wants to hear that. AI agents is today. I think my boss here is like one of my. I report to an associate director called Gene. He is a guy like he have a nice vision, clear vision. He explained me about how the time matters. Here, I think you have to. I think end of this year and next in year there will be two groups. One, people who know AI will paid more. People who don't know AI need to worry and need to be scared.
And so how do you future proof? What advice do you have for people in SEO to future proof themselves, to sort of bring themselves into your position, because you now have been obviously putting in the time to get acquainted with AI so that you can future proof your job. But what other advice practical advice can you give to SEOs there
Yeah,
to keep themselves employed?
I think SEOs have a beautiful opportunity. The future looks really good because we know how to create strategies. We know what content to create. We know everyone needs an example like OpenAI is hiring for an SEOs. Google is hiring for SEO. So what does that tells me? Our skill is really in demand if you can understand the latest trends. Did you ever saw like OpenAI is hiding literally OpenAI is hiding the really high packages, nice packages,
Yeah.
and I think
Yes, I did. I saw Alida actually posting it and being like, "Oh, we should ask for more money," like people in the
yeah,
SEO space because they're willing to spend, which is great. So it does show the demand is definitely there. And I think from your experience, it seems like you're also because you gave the example that through vibe coding, you understand the way a developer works, and that has improved your relationship
yeah.
with working with developers. So you're not afraid to essentially get your hands dirty and become more technical. So
I
you
think
sort of have
that's the only way you'll adopt the technologies. Example, do you know anything about AI 3 years before or 2 years before?
very, very minimal, very minimal. I just about more about machine learning and that AI is coming, but
Yeah,
we no one was actively using it. So yeah,
even myself as well. I think the key difference is I don't know anything about that. I don't like coding at all. But because of this vibe coding and stuff like that, it helps me to teach. You're using this XYZ here. I think we recommend to use like AB here. It gives a feedback. I use multiple AIs. I don't rely on one. I take this example, the errors from Claude, and throw in OpenAI and take this in Manus AI. Manus AI is a really good tool. People need to try that as well. That's a really good tool as well. It's an AI agent. So
okay.
to answer your exact question is,
And I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm
yeah,
actually very curious about this AI agent. You said Mensa AI. Do you mind
it's like
spelling it?
Manus. It's like MANUS. It's
Ah, Manus AI. Right.
yeah.
Yes.
I was I was blown away. I think to be honest, like right now, Claude and OpenAI are just trying to do what Manus AI did 6 months ago. Again, I'm talking specific features like an spreadsheets, creating a slides, and it was able to go and get the job done. I think OpenAI launched an AI agent when Manus AI was doing like 6 months ago. Just to answer your question, I think the best way to learn is actually to do something,
Yeah.
because
Very much so.
everyone have an in LinkedIn, they know AI, but how do you determine you know AI or not? It's basically doing something. It's okay to. I'm not a developer. I'm happy to say that, but I'm happy to say that hey, I did this to accomplish this, and this is what I shared in my LinkedIn. So the easiest and fastest way to learn is you don't need to invest a dollar. I highly don't recommend people buying anything until they learn basics. So if you go to anthropic.com, there's an free lessons they provide, and even with the OpenAI as well. And I also shared a LinkedIn a post. I did a research on Harvard, MIT. There's a lot of top schools providing a free resources to learn. So I provided like 50 of them in my LinkedIn recently. So I would highly recommend go and understand the concept. And if you don't know, go and ask your developer. I know there is a concept called RAG, so which helps to pull the content from our own database using vector database. Example, I'm just giving a simple example. So you don't know how to do it. Try using vibe coding. And if you're still not able to accomplish it, go and ask your developers, hey, I'm trying to build XYZ. Can you help me out? My objective is I want to get like top 10 related internal links for this topic. And even you don't have a developers, you can go simply in Upwork, hire someone, pay someone 100 or 200 bucks, build something and throw in your LinkedIn. I think that's the only way right now I'm seeing that recruiters or anyone are actually paying attention of people who are actually doing it rather than talking it.
So do the work basically. And it's great that you're also sort of experimenting in public. I love that you share, what it is you're working on and you're proud of the fact that you do not have a technical developer background, but you're still making attempts and you're learning it and you're able to apply it and that's really wonderful to see. So that's great advice for sure. I actually want to before we go into the rapid fire
Yeah.
round where I ask a few questions about AI and SEO, I have one last question about MCPs because you're someone who works with enterprise platforms like AT&T, apartments.com. Do you see MCPs actually helping to solve like the data silo problem that these big organizations have?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful option, right? Like the example would be you rather than reaching a data analyst every single time to understand, and also uh, if you can Ahrefs have its own MCP, data for SEO have its own MCP. I think it's you don't need to do actual coding. If you once integrated, you can literally chat and ask, hey, I want keywords for XYZ topics. sort them based on intent and CPC, and it can literally give you an Excel file. In order to you do that, it takes a lot of time, or else you need to have a script. So it's a ton of work. So MCP is definitely helpful. Again, no one knows MCP before 1 year or 2 years. I'm talking about a normal SEO industry, not about the developers or like a research scientists. But that's a cool. Ahrefs have one. Data for SEO have one. Simply plug into Claude. And now the vibe coding have this thing called agent mode, which means you don't need to fix the bugs. It itself generate code and gives you a bug, and it automatically fixes itself as well. So you don't need to be really worrying about, okay, if there is a bug, how to do that. Now different modes and different AIs helps to resolve it. I think MCPs are definitely going to be helpful, and also A to A models, which means agent to agent models as well, from Google will also be helpful.
Nice. And I also had a question. Do you think MCPs would eventually reduce the dependency on SEO tools because you sort of like, let teams plug in their own data into LLMs? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, I think MCP is it's going to be a tricky question because the data provided, example, Ahrefs have its own data and its own MCP. So I think there will be still dependency on some tools. I, what I can say is like if the tools doesn't have MCPs, example, data for SEO have a really good MCP, and they launched ahead, they gain really good like momentum. The providers does not provide the MCPs, then they'll be in a trouble because at the time in next generation, people don't want to go download the Excel report, have a VLOOKUP, all these things. They want to chat, get the data. If your tool doesn't provide this, then there is a problem there.
Nice. Yeah, and because why these SEO tools can still stay relevant is because they're sort of providing these proprietary data. So that's why
Yeah,
they're still relevant. But the ones that will be left behind are the ones that just don't make the integration possible, which is
yeah,
fair.
it's same
Nice.
like an SEO, same like a company. If they are not adopt the things faster, if competitor does, then you're in
Kind of
risk
die.
position.
Kind of die.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah, I would love to move into our rapid fire round. So, as I said before, these are a few questions for with short answers about your take on AI and SEO. So, yeah, the first question is: do you use LLMs outside of work or just on the job?
Instead of work,
It controls your life.
I spend like at least 2 hours on doing R&D because just to one line answer, because big companies and small companies, we need to bring them to the table and say, hey, there is a new tool here. I tested XYZ. We want it in workplace. If you don't know what's going on in the world, then you're already lost in the game.
And actually, on that note, I wanted to ask: have you tried out any analytics tools for LLMs, and do you have a favorite?
I don't at this point. I purely rely on like the databases I create myself and try to pull the data from. But I to be honest, I didn't tried it. I would love to do that one. There's a one tool I think I used a while ago. I don't remember the name, but that AI is purely designed for data analytics.
Okay, and what sort of data, what sort of metrics did you get from that tool?
Yeah, I think I it's been a while, but I think whatever I can recall is basically if you can throw a raw data, it was able to clean up, dedupe it, and show the visualization like Power BI. It's going
Ah,
to say,
okay.
hey, based on the last historical data, this is the most sold product. This is the product that is growing eventually month over month, and we expect to grow. This is the projection of this product, and this product have high visibility but low sales. So deprioritizing this product would be increase the profits for other products. So it
Nice.
takes the data, visualize it, and give me some feedback.
And that's more for like, yeah, your internal company data of like top performing products and like how to prioritize it, but not so much on like, maybe I should have phrased my question better, but I was wondering if you're using any analytics tools for how your brand is performing publicly or
So
how do, yeah,
you're,
like brand monitor more. I think the better
yeah,
term
yeah,
for LLMs is brand monitoring tools.
I see what you mean. Yeah, now I understand. Sorry, I think I went in a different route. I think,
No, but my fault. Yeah.
yeah, I think one good tool I really follow is Demand Sphere, and
Demand?
Demand Sphere is a really good tool, and I know the founder as well. They were the first one who were able to crack tracking of AIO mentions. So they're really good at that. Doing that, I have my personal account. I use them just for R&D, and then Ahrefs. So far, I can see Ahrefs is doing a really good job on brand monitoring. I think at this point we in the sense like in AT&T and in my personal experience so far, I found really good these two tools are using, but I know there's a lot of tools I didn't played with it. And people, if your brand is really good and if you're tracking really good, please DM me. I would love to try. But so far, I'm using these two of them.
Nice. Cool. I'll segue back to our questions. Thank you for entertaining my side questions. But
Sounds
yeah,
good.
back to the rapid fire round. So what's your favorite LLM? Is it safe to assume it's Claude?
Currently, Claude.
Nice.
Yeah,
What's one SEO task you never want to do manually again?
maybe like some really bad VLOOKUPs.
Sorry?
We looking like manually we look up the data, filter the data up in
Right.
Excel stuff. Yeah.
I see. So you don't want to manually look up any more data
No, I think Claude is able to do it in one go.
to fetch it for you. Nice.
Yeah.
What's your most overhyped SEO trend in the AI era?
Can you repeat that? What is that?
What's your most AI overhyped SEO trend? Oh, sorry, yeah, SEO trend in the AI era. So
Yeah, I
any
think.
SEO trends or hack
Yeah, I think
that
if
you think
so,
are too overhyped?
I think if someone says they have like an LLM mentioning brand strategy, I think using AI is right now a marketing strategy. Especially if someone says like we're using AI, some businesses don't need AI, and especially if someone says that they have LLM strategies, that's overhyped.
They should stick to the SEO. And what industries do you think LLM strategy is not really necessary right now?
Yeah, I think I'm mentioning that they're going to say like, and if someone is saying like we're going to make sure you're in like top one rank, no one trusts that. I'm saying similarly, if someone says we're going to use some data to testing, it's good. But if someone guarantees that they're going to rank in LLMs, that's the red
A
flag
red
for me.
flag.
Yeah,
Definitely red flag. Nice. Next question. One AI feature or product you wish existed.
I think existed right now. I think so far I can see everything. I think if there's a one platform at enterprise level that can have a database that had a front end, back end, like everything in one stack and not buggy.
And
Yeah,
what do you currently use?
cloud. Yeah,
Something that has it's more you want like Claude 2.0 essentially.
yeah, cloud is my favorite so far. I pay like a max plan and stuff. But OpenAI is good as well. But code for clouding, general knowledge for OpenAI, agent for Manus AI.
Nice. I love that breakdown. Most underrated AI use case in SEO right now.
Most underrated. I think the use of rich content. Like example, we are so much into textual content. I think interactive content and visualization and UI UX. I think that's going to be future. That's the most underrated because we are heavily on text. But I think having an interactive comparison models or like calculators or something like nice infographics. I think
Visual.
the span is going down. People don't want to read like a 1 minute. I just spend 30 seconds to decide whether I want to read or not.
So making content more dynamic, even adding video. Then have you
Oh
have you
yeah,
played around with Sora?
Sora. I think I played at Sora 2 is really good as well, and Nano Banana too. I think creating a rich content such as visual, video, audio, um, those going to be crucial.
Yes, and you see that as the future is for SEOs, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm assuming to sort of just it's not just content being text content, but content being multimedia.
yeah, and I think people going to say we can produce AI at the AI at this point. Human content in rich. I'm talking about example the things we are doing in the video side of things. AI is not at that stage to produce exactly the content we produce. I think the demand for human content will eventually grow. It sounds crazy, but because do you actually want to read a 10 AI videos or like in one human video? So that's going to be human created content will be high demand.
Yeah, it's more authentic. People want that touch point, that human touch point,
Yeah,
which is lovely. I actually have one segue question because you
sure.
mentioned UI and UX. I actually wanted to know, do you have any issues with UI and UX design decisions versus like SEO priorities in AT&T? Do you get into battles on like what's good for SEO?
Yeah, so far not in AT&T, but historical I did. I think the challenge comes where we want to have heading at top and we want to have internal links at XYZ location. I think there should be a fine balance. At the end of the day, I see I don't do any task from SEO lens, which means if I'm SEO, I want to link from everywhere. But I think the real SEOs, I feel that I know they don't think of SEO anymore. They think of, okay, how can this particular thing helps a user to buy this product? buy this service? Is this useful for a user? That's the most important thing. If that UX is able to balance it out and we are good, I think most cases would be like where my content need to be. Do I want a big banner? We often say we don't want a big banner. We want a text at the top. And the designer is going to say it looks bad. It's old style. So we have to communicate with them and explain why this is important and find a balance that helps users.
Yeah. And do you also think with, and this is sort of a leading question, but with how users, consumers are going to want more human centric content, that UI and UX actually can inform better decisions in SEO, with, SEO over design, and maybe certain SEO design choices need to take a step back to make it more user
Yeah,
friendly and appealing.
I think one thing I really I think if I need to give advice is like internal linking, the design and strategy of internal linking. I think for me it's like it looks like extremely old, and I don't like doing that. And because if you see Netflix, did you ever see? You ever felt like there is a link forced to you?
No,
Like
seamless UI.
if you see Amazon, did you see recommended products anytime forced you to follow this? But I still see a lot of companies that, again, there is a legacy issues with the big brands, but I'm saying the future should be like SEO should not feel like actual SEO. So links should be relevant based on historical search sessions data and relevant of a topic, relevant of last click. It should be like more dynamic, more easy for users. It should not be like, okay, these are 10 links, 10 links, 10 links. I think that strategy need to go away.
Make it prettier and more relevant.
Yeah, more. I think I believe on one thing from last decade. I'm going to believe that for next 20 years as well. It's like user first search or like user first.
Very
Yeah, is
fair.
the one I see.
What's your favorite tool that you didn't expect to love? Is it safe to assume it was maybe Manos AI?
Yeah, you're right. I think Manage AI is like I started from using free to jump to $200 per month.
Wow. Okay, you became a power user.
Yeah, I used to, and they were good enough to send. Again, I switched. I'm saying like I'm going to switch more often to test because subscription costs like 700, $800 in total. So
Wow.
I try this, go to this. So I try out multiple things, but Manage AI is one thing I was not expecting, but they were amazing.
Awesome. AI agents, overkill or overdo?
Or kill or overdo. I think it can overdo if you have a right knowledge.
Nice. Build or buy your AI workflows?
Buy and build it better.
Hybrid.
Yeah, yeah, you're
And a
right.
very last question. One word to describe the future of SEO.
Future looks great.
Nice. I love that. Thank you so much, Venkata. This was a great conversation. I really appreciate you sharing, going into detail as well with sharing your workflows and just entertaining all of my questions. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks, Vanessa, for your time, and I hope I didn't bore our visitors. And
No, this is good. You dropped some gems and you were really open with sharing, so I really appreciate it. How can people get in touch with you if they would like to follow the work that you're doing or ask you for advice?
yeah, I think LinkedIn is the most active piece. I think we're going to share the link in the bottom or in the blogs. One thing, people can reach me. Again, I'm not a really great expert or something like that, but I can share what I know, what I have experience on, and I do a lot of free trainings for people who need support, and I'm happy to consult them for if they're struggling in their career, want some advice, want some just little push because someone did to me, I want to do from others. And again, if it's a big companies, I'm going to charge them. But for rest of the anyone else, I'm going to say I'm happy to do with no cost.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Venkata. That's so sweet.